Okay, so this video is going to be of my second graders seeing curriculum for this year. I'm pretty excited to open this because some of the things Seton has updated this year versus when my middle child was in second grade. So I'm curious to see the new stuff. Like I saw this in the box and I'm like, what is this? Okay, looks fun. All right, so I have my packing slip. Y'all know the drill right here. I have my books here and I'm going to show you what we get. All right, first thing we get is Art 2. I already had this book, so I let C know I already had it. I made the little check when I enrolled, and they gave me a credit for it. And we're going to reuse this one from my oldest too. They usually really like this one. I bought them a sketchbook in second grade, and they do each of the sketches each week in it. And then sometimes they get a little creative and do their own after. And then I kind of keep it as a little memento of, look, your second grade artwork. It's fun. So we really like Art 2. It gives you a little reading about the art, and then they draw a picture and it shows you how to draw it. So looking forward to that one. All right, English 2. I did order a new book because we write in it, and if my kid writes in it, I get a new book when the next kid is around. So we have grammar, parts of speech, even a little bit of paragraph writing if you saw the webs in there, right? A little bit of diagramming, so that's going to be new this year. But Seton does a really good job of scaffolding. So a little bit this year, add on a little bit next year, add on a little bit more to where it doesn't feel overwhelming to the kid. And yet by the time they're in high school, they can diagram a very complicated sentence. Handwriting. Handwriting 2. It's a sideways book. I don't think it turns right side up till third grade. I think we learned cursive this year. Let's see. No? Okay. So print, print, print of all the letters and the numbers. Oh, there we go. Yes, here's some cursive. Okay, I thought so. So we will review all of our regular manuscript print, and then we will move on to cursive. I love that my kids learn cursive. You can also, this automatically comes with it. And in the past, I clicked, no, I don't need one because I already had one and we barely used it with my previous kids. We have finally gone through the whole thing now. So, and then this one's different. This one's spiral. My other one was, the other one was this way and it was just a regular binding. So I kind of like this because I know it's going to sit flat with that spiral. And we have front back just for extra practice. So we got a new one this year. History 2. It has a different name this year, but it looks like it has the same idea. And I really liked it for my last child with second grade. They kind of went around the world with saints. So you learned about different parts of the world. Oh, this one is much thicker than I remember. So I'm curious to see how this one goes. And I thought it would be really fun if it does the same thing to maybe try to incorporate each time we learn about a new country, maybe some of the foods from that country or a food or a snack from that country. I thought that might make it a little bit more hands-on fun. So we'll see, grand ideas before the school year starts, and then we'll see how often that happens. All right, geography skills also. These are the ones, if you watched my other video about sixth grade where we were using Scholastic, this child, my youngest, is getting the Seton Press ones, and I love them. They're phenomenal. So it has the little characters that they get used to from phonics. And then it always has beautiful pictures. My kids were so excited after we went on our trip to New Mexico and Colorado that the basilica we went to Mass at in New Mexico was in one of their books. And they were like, oh, we went there. And they were so excited. So I like that they put churches. All right, so here's our geography skills. Map skills. I saw some charts. And I usually start taking out the USA puzzle for them to start not that the puzzle is hard, but just the practice of seeing where the states are now that they can usually read the names, just to start familiarizing them. So I think it's fourth grade that they have to know where all the states are. So second grade, start doing the puzzle. Fun. Don't realize that they're learning. Good little basic foundation for that. Okay, math 2. We do use the Seton math books up to fourth grade in our family. I think they go up to fifth grade though. So this is math 2. I do usually supplement their math depending on the child, with either Mega Geeks when they start learning multiplication, or Beast Academy for problem solving, or Extra Math, the app for like addition, subtraction, and multiplication, division, to make sure that they're getting like that speed and accuracy. So depending on the kid, I'll throw in some different supplements. Former math teacher, we're gonna have supplements for math. Also, if you saw like the coins and the clocks and stuff, we have a hands-on clock that they can move the hands. We have the little pretend money to practice counting money, just to make everything fun. We also have the little unit blocks with the 10 sticks and then the 100 rectangles. Those also help too with like borrowing and things like that, carrying over. So anything we can add to help make math more fun. And I did not get all of those the first year. We got them over time, and then now we can use them for all the kids. All right, music. I don't have the book in front of me, but I have a little stack of them. If you watch the other video, it's still in storage. And it's the We Sing books. So each year you just have a different book. When you play the songs, you sing the songs. If your child can do piano or an instrument, you have them play it with it. If not, find them on YouTube. Seton has some of them online. And then, just make it fun. So that's our music. For phonics, Seton has been slowly updating, I think each year, the phonics program. My eldest went through their previous version of it. My middle child kind of half and half. She did half of the new and half of the old. And then my youngest child is getting the fully advanced new program. And they really like the little cartoon characters. And the book, it does a really good job of it. They really learn their phonics rules well with this. And then there's different little games. If you enroll and get the lesson plans, there's extra games that you can do to just make it more fun. This one says, on my packing slip, it says Phonics 2 for Young Catholics, which is what I just showed you. But it also says Trail Game Mat, cards, stickers, and pawns. So that's what this is. I don't know what the game is yet because I haven't read the lesson plans, but this looks really cool. So this is the game board, and it's kind of like that mouse pad, material. Okay, and then we have little cards. So I'm curious to see, and it looks like there's different colors, so there's probably different kinds. Let me open this up. And then I see the little game pawns and stickers. So we did not have this for my first or second child when they were in second grade. So this is new to us. So slip on the rocks, soak your socks, back 5. So that's one of the Ron cards. Then these purple cards, putting things together. Yellow cards. My daughter was really excited when she saw the game. And she's like, what's that? I said, something we're going to play for phonics. So I am so curious to see how this all goes together. So those are the different chords. And then we have the little stickers that I'm going to assume go on here, front and back, for their characters. So I'll get that together before we start our school year. I like that this is, able to be rolled up. That's going to make it much easier to store somewhere and keep. Okay. PE is mostly just the lesson plan, and then I usually count gymnastics classes, dancing classes, archery practice, um, exercising outside, playing around, things like that. But the PE lesson plans also tells you like sit-ups, pull-ups, push-ups, different things for them to try each. I think it's by week usually. Okay, reading 2. I had almost everything already for reading that we were able to reuse. So we had our readers from our previous kids, and I knew that they were second grade because of this. And the readers get a little bit more difficult as the year progresses, since we're practicing our reading at this point. And the lesson plans usually have comprehension questions for them and the answer key, so that you can make sure that your child is understanding what they're reading and answering correctly. All right, we also have, I think they start book reports in second grade, because I see Good St. Joseph and St. Francis of Assisi. And I remember, I think they did book reports in these. So these are the 2 Saint books. Now, book reports in second grade are much simpler than the book report that I showed you in 6th grade, obviously. Seton is very good at teaching the kids through little baby steps. We start a little bit, and then the next year a little bit harder, next year a little bit harder, as it should be, right? In religion, we have our religion book, which again is going to be read and answer questions. We have our questions down here at the bottom, and a test at the end of the quarter usually. We also have the Baltimore Catechism again. I think this year, this year is, here we go, the First Communion Catechism. She will be making her first communion this year. And then we also have the Holy Rosary. Okay. For science, we have our science book. Okay, so this one must be new too, because they have the little phonics characters again. And I see some questions and answers, charts and diagrams to fill in for comprehension. And then spelling. Again, look, here we go. We're updating. So this will also be an updated one for spelling. So in the spelling book, there's, let's see, let's just do one. Here's lesson 5. We have our words. We have information about it and application of the words, the rules. Usually it's a rule. This one is phrases. Read the phrase, list the list word out loud. Hear the list word, repeat it, and then write it. And then this side is finding which words begin with the same letters from your spelling words, and rhyming words. This one is rhyming. I remember also, even in 1st grade, they were already teaching them alphabetical order. So sometimes, see, this one's rhyming again in a different way. Which ones rhyme with grass? Which ones rhyme glass? Which ones rhyme with hill? Here we go. Here's our ABC order. So they're even teaching them the alphabetical order at this level. And then I think you have a spelling test each week, and then a quarter spelling test. I know we for sure had quarter spelling tests in 1st grade. All right, and that is it with the books for fully enrolled 2nd grade. So you also get the teacher planner. You also get the rosary and the rosary book. I went into a lot more detail about most of this stuff in the 6th grade video. Just trying to keep this one a little bit shorter because that one ran quite a bit longer than I expected it to. All right, so each year you're going to get the Getting Started packet that tells you how does Seton work when you're enrolled, what's the grading scale, how to send your test. Here's your attendance records. And then also each grading period, quarterly period checklist. Here's our art lesson plans. It's going to tell you, for example, lesson 25. You're going to follow the step-by-step drawing on page 102, color the picture on page 103, read the story of St. Benedict on page 105, study the painting on 104, and then they give you an extra activity if you want to supplement it. Highly, highly recommend getting a little sketchbook to keep their drawings in second grade. It's fun, and then it's a good keepsake. All right, here's our English 2 lesson plans. Nice colorful lesson plans. It shows you which book you're using, and then on the right hand side you can check it off when you're done. English, I like to be enrolled. I like to be fully enrolled for all the subjects, but English especially, because that's when they start giving you writing assignments. See, paragraph writing, and then you have the answers, and then you have the test at the end. Handwriting. They give you a lot of good information about how the student should sit and how they should be holding their pencil, and then what pages on what days, and extra practice. Oh, I just opened up the history lesson plan and some stuff fell out. Okay, so this should be interesting. All right, so it also shows you which books go with this subject. Books you're using, which days. History usually has a little extra in the lesson plans too. Like this one says optional enrichment ideas for that week's lesson. Looks like they aren't taking tests just yet in second grade history. Okay, so this is what fell out, and I'm curious to see how this goes. Passport to the New World, or to the world. So there's 2 of them. And then look, the stickers. Oh, she's gonna like that. That's gonna make it fun. Okay, well now I definitely need to find some recipe books for each area of something to cook. Okay. Math. Tells you what to do, which day. And sometimes it gives you ideas for extra practice. And then it has the answer key and the test. Here's music. So music will say things like, for the first 9 weeks of school, pick out some of the after Pentecost songs, look through the book with your child, sing the songs at least once, go back and sing the ones you like best, etc. Usually you're attaching this to your different feast days and saints feast days and special time periods in the church year. All right, here's phonics 2. There's all of our lesson plans. This is how to play the game. Phonics Trail Game Directions. Looks like you can make it into a little book. Then you have the answer key for your phonics book, and then the tests are at the end. Okay, for reading. So these are the books you should have for reading. And then we have our lesson plans, answers, And then that's the book report paper at the end. So at second grade, they're answering questions mostly for their book report, or they're calling it a book review. Oops. And then they have comprehension tests where they read the story and they answer the questions about the story. All right, Religion 2. These are the books you would use. Colorful lesson plans, answer key tests. Science 2. And it looks like I think they had some tests at the end. Oh, that's spelling. My spelling got stuck to the science. They got stapled together. Hold on a second. Okay, so no tests in science in second grade. Okay, and then here's spelling. And then PE. So you see, for example, it says week 19, play songs such as Looby Loo and a little running game. Singing games should be available on recordings from the library. Play according to the directions of the song. Week 20, find marching songs. Week 15, skipping. And then weeks 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, they give you an exercise and they describe it on how to do the exercise. Week 3 is bicycle exercise, etc. So if you aren't sure what to do for PE for your child, they have all of it in here for you. So you don't have to plan anything. It's all done for you. All right, so that's all of our lesson plans in our books for second grade. Check back. I'm also doing a video this year for 6th grade and 8th grade. And then if I have time, I'm going to do a video on the supplements that I ordered also.